Now, the last function where we're gonna add the logic to in this section is the cancel orders function, and it's fairly straightforward. Let me go with you step by step, line by line through this function. Now, first of all, we need the index in our tokens mapping, which we get here, and then we determine if it's a sell order or a buy order. If it's a sell order, we're working with the sell book. If it's a buy order, we're working with the buy book. And then we make sure that the person who actually put the order into the exchange, who created this limit order, is also the same person who is trying to cancel it. And we save the person who is the one who entered the order in our offers mapping inside the sell book. So we have a token, let's say the fixed token that we add always during this course, and it has the symbol name index 1, so it's the tokens 1 and the sell book. And let's say we want to try to cancel our offer for 500 Wei. So we go to the sell book for 500 Wei, and then in the offers array, in this offers mapping, we have to get the offers key. And if you remember back in the logic for creating sell and buy orders, for creating limit orders, then we are emitting an event, and inside the event we are emitting the current key that is created in this offers mapping. So if you are getting this event, you also can get the key, and the key is determined inside, for example, this add sell offer logic, where we are increasing the offers length, and inside the offers length, we use this offers length then inside the offers mapping to assign the person who is creating this offer. And the who is the message sender. So if you caught this event in your front-end logic, then you also know the offers key that the person wants to cancel. And then you require that the person who created this offer is the same as the message sender, the one who created this transaction to cancel the order. If it's not, it will throw an exception at this point. And then we get the amount of tokens that were put up for selling. And then we make a short check for overflow. We check if the tokens balance plus the tokens amount is larger or equal than the token balance for the address. And then we have the actual logic, right? We take the tokens balance and we add the tokens amount that was put up for an offer, and we set the offer to 0. And then we emit an event, sell order created. On the other way around, you guessed it correctly, the logic is just the same for the buy book. So we also check if the one who created the order is the one who's trying to cancel it. We get the ether to refund, which is the amount of tokens that were put up for sell times the price in Wei. And then we add it back to the balance. We set the offer to 0, and we emit an event buy order cancelled. Now let's give this a try, and let's open Remix for that. I've opened Remix now, and I've highlighted the cancel limit order logic, and I'm just going to create my contract, and I'm going to create my fixed supply token, and I'm going to add my token to the contract, to my exchange here, and I call this fixed, and I give this the address. And I will just try this with a buy order, so we are all on the same page here, that it's just trying the one side. I will not try the other side, so I will make sure that one of the two sides is actually working. First, I fund my cancel my exchange contract with 1 ether, so I deposit some ether, and I try to buy some token. So what I'm going to do is I want to buy the fixed token, and I want to buy it, I think it was price in Wei. I want to buy it for, let's say, 500,000 Wei, and I want to buy 10 of them. So I have one entry in my buy order book. Just make sure that this is working. Yes, so I have one entry, 10 tokens for 500,000 each. And now I have a look at the events that were emitted during the creation. And if I have a look at my event limit by order created, limit by order created, then I have my indexed, symbol indexed, and my indexed who, which are hashed. But I also have the amount of tokens, price in way, and the order key. And now I'm going to try and cancel this order. And I have my cancel order function here. And this is my fixed supply token. No, it's not a sell order. It was for 500,000 way. And it was the first entry. And this is interesting that I've not seen this before, that the limit by order event inside Remix is outputting us 0 for the key, which should actually be 1. If you have a look at the logic, here, we are adding a new buy offer. We are increasing the offer's length by 1. And then we are outputting for this price the offer's length. Now you see, this is something where Solidity is giving me surprises all the time. Let's have a look what our truffle is saying to that. So I will just create the same situation in a truffle test, and we're trying to see what the output is there. But before we do that, let me try again to just buy a new token again and see what the event is here now. It is still 0. Aha. So very interesting that our offers key is stored on the second place, even though just doesn't make sense. So if you have this kind of event here, I don't know what's going wrong here, but it just doesn't make sense. Let's have a look how this works in Truffle so that you see the difference between the different tools and the struggle that you have as an everyday Solidity developer. Obviously, if you create a course like this, you make sure that everything is working right. But if you're working with Solidity and working with Ethereum, there are certain surprises, even for us as instructors. Let me switch to Truffle and let's have a look. So I switched now to Truffle and I have uncommented the last test in our trading simple.js file that we created the other day earlier. And I've here a very, very simple test actually. I just get my exchange and I get the buy order book and I have a look at the order book's length, amount of entries that we have in our order book, and I just add somewhere with 2.2 Fini, which I hopefully haven't used before, an offer to buy tokens in total 5 pieces. And here in this transaction result object, we should have one log with arguments, and in this case the order key. And before I do anything else, I will just output this transaction result, and I want to have a look if here the right values are written down. I will open now the test RPC and I will run the tests, and we're gonna have a look together what is the output of the transaction result and what is the output of the logs there. So I've opened now the Ethereum.js test RPC and I run on the right side here the Truffle test for the trading simple, and it should be compiling fairly quickly, and we will see what is the output of our log which is created, which was clearly wrong in Remix and is hopefully right in our Ethereum.js test RPC and Truffle. Let's have a look. So we have one log which is limit by order created, and we want to actually output the arguments here. Let's go back to his code and let's say we want to output logs 0.args, and let's try this again. and we have an output of, well, it's perfectly fine here. So we have a symbol index 1, we have the address of the person, we have the amount of tokens, we have the price in Wei, and we also have the order key, which is 1, which is perfectly fine. So I have honestly no idea why it's not working inside Remix, and I am very, very happy that I could show you that it's working in Truffle. And going forward, I personally think Truffle is much safer. I haven't had any issues with Truffle so far. So from a developer's perspective, I can recommend you Truffle, and we will not cut out this problem with Remix, because it's very important to see what kind of problems you're actually facing as a Solidity developer. And you find this code in the course repository, obviously, and I can just encourage you to give it a try. Eventually it is fixed already, but if something is failing or if something doesn't make sense, use one of the other tools. Try it in your own private network, try it in the Ethereum JS test RPC, and see if the same error that is occurring with maybe Remix or with any other implementation that is not the real blockchain, just make sure that it's also happening with maybe other clients or in the testnet, so that you know that it's a real problem and not just an imaginary problem like the one with the events in Remix.